Five, four, three, two. All right. Well, I guess we're live. Uh, what's up, everybody? I'm Dustin Coyne from Talkin Motorbikes, and tonight I'm on with club racer Joshua Scott. And just so you know, sorry we're a little late. Just a heads up, Josh is a chef. He's not a IT guy.
I'm
So
not a
like,
computer guy.
we had to work through some shit. What's up, Josh?
What's going on, Dustin? How are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm over here. I'm because of Jake had such a successful weekend on the team.
Dude.
I busted out the World Superbike shirt for the
Oh,
show tonight.
the guy's a
So,
monster.
dude, he's an animal, man. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
unbelievable how he's able to, like he's just so far ahead of everybody. I mean,
He's so dialed in, and the thing that I love about him is that he's so down to earth. I've seen some off track stuff, and he's
yeah,
just like this dude that's just chilling in the mountains, like just living life, and he's obviously loving riding that attack Yamaha because him and that bike are just one. So
yeah,
it's cool
yeah.
to watch.
Super friendly guy, like you said, super humble. When we go to the tests and stuff, he's just like poking fun at me. He's like, "Oh, you're the rock star." I'm like, "What? Shut up!" Like,
Right.
I'm just a timing and scoring guy. Like, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, man. So, the reason why I do these episodes where I feature club racers is because there's a lot more of us club racers than there are those big time dudes, right? Number one,
Yeah.
and number two, I think it's great to talk to club racers because we all come from different backgrounds. We're all different shapes and sizes. We all ride a bunch of different stuff, and a lot of us have different day jobs. And
Yeah.
so that I thought that's pretty cool. There's not really a lot of chatter anywhere about club racers, and we're the ones that spend all the money nationwide, worldwide, basically doing this crap, right?
Dude,
So,
100%.
so with that being said, like, what do you do for a living? You're a club racer. I said you're a
Yeah.
chef, but what
Yeah.
you want to elaborate on that? And I don't know, talk about the perfect grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah, we can do that. So basically, what I do, dude, is I create products and recipes for like grocery stores and chain restaurants. So if you think about it, like all the stuff that's on the shelves in the grocery store has to
Okay.
come from somewhere, right? Somebody had to create that. Somebody had to come up with the idea. Somebody had to put it together. Somebody had to taste test it, do a bunch of testing, and then get it finally approved and put in the store. So that's kind of what I do. I put those products together. I kind of am a sales guy as well. Talk about the food to the person that's like the buyer for the grocery store or the chain restaurant. And we just have a conversation and try to make a product that they want and put it on the shelves. So my background is classically trained French in French technique,
Really?
culinary degree, and I worked in some restaurants. Kind of earned my stripes there, which is a whole different. I think it's a whole
Yeah.
different podcast talking about working in the restaurant industry,
Yeah.
um, but I had a lot of fun, learned a lot of things, and I mean, this is just a great industry to be in because you can make a pretty good living doing it. It's constantly changing. It's never the same thing, so it's not monotonous or boring, and it's just fun to do, man.
Wow, man. Like, you know, being a chef was something that I aspired to be when I was a kid. I spent a couple of summers doing the prep cook thing at some
Mm-hmm.
resort in NorCal. You know, child labor laws back then weren't the same as what they are now, right?
Right.
And man, I was going to school in Calistoga, and there was this guy that was a chef at one of the hotels in Calistoga, and man, like he was such a cool guy, and I don't know how I was like in junior high or something, and the dude was like in his 30s. He always had
Mm-hmm.
like hot chicks with him, like
Right.
and I was like, man, I got to be a chef.
All the waitresses and hostesses, dude. It's
Right?
like
Yeah,
it's a
look,
whole thing, bro, for
yeah,
sure.
and going through the like looking at the culinary academy, that kind of
Hmm.
stuff, and then that dude sat me down. This guy was like kind of my hero, right? He sat me down. He's like, "You want to be a chef? Okay." He's like, "I'm gonna give you a reality check.
Hmm.
Just so you know, you be a chef. Part of that, how do you like your holidays and weekends, like
Right.
Friday nights, and
Right.
and like he put that, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose all of that forever.
Yeah,
Nah, I'm good. I
right.
shoved away from the chef thing,
Pretty quick after
because of
that.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's one thing too about where I'm working at. It is it's 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, so I get to keep those weekends. And but yeah, I mean, most of the time you're working for 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. You know what I mean in the restaurant.
yeah,
You got to do cleanup, you've got to do prep work, you've got to do the actual service, which is basically the fun part of it.
yeah,
Is just back there getting your ass kicked with a bunch of orders and
yeah,
working your butt off, and then coming out of it like, oh, I'm still alive.
yeah. Like, I mean,
So
do you do you? I watch those movies and shows and stuff. Like, the the bear is that last one, that
oh
most recent,
yeah,
the bear,
yeah, yeah,
dude. Like, as soon as I saw that show, I was like, oh my god, like I'm having flashbacks of when I was a kid, because they're
yeah,
using the
yeah,
lingo and stuff, and like
yep,
all the jargon that you hear in the kitchen. Like, that
yep,
show totally highlighted that stuff.
yeah.
And obviously, there's the Chef movie with
The Chef was great.
Fan Favreau, right? John
Yep,
Favreau,
that
and
was
then
such a good movie.
Burnt,
Burnt is a great one too. I was going
right?
to mention that one.
So, man, I just, I'm like, you're the chef guy, and you're classically French trained, and you're making lemon pepper chicken at the grocery store, like,
Yeah. Right, and that's the thing, right? Like that's kind of the risk to reward almost, you can say, is you fall in love with cooking awesome food, right? Like
right,
that's where the passion is and the passion starts. And then, like you said, you go to the grocery store and it's like, oh, you have to make a vinaigrette dressing, right? Which is like, okay, that's super simple, super basic. One of the first
right,
things you'll learn in the kitchen. So what's the reward there? You know what I mean? And
yeah,
and really the reward is for me, like I try to bring restaurant quality to our buyer, or basically to the customer at home. So whatever they're going to go and pick up on the shelf at the store is hopefully pretty close to something that they're going to get in a restaurant, is my goal when I'm creating something. So that's kind of where I
so
try to
like
get
you're
that
making
balance.
you're like helping them, you're building the recipe or whatever that the store can follow when they make the prepackaged shit.
So that's part of it. Yeah. So
Okay,
like a bunch of like stuff in the deli, like all the salads that you see in the deli, like
okay,
broccoli salad and potato salad and all that stuff. So somebody like myself will create that and we'll ship it to them in like a kit format, whether it's like a tub of potato salad with some bacon and some blue cheese crumbles, and they just assemble it and put it in a bowl and put it in the case. Um, but what we have to do is we have to make it craveable, right, for the
right,
consumers. So that's kind of where it comes in. Is if you get an item that is just a monster hit, like that's something that's really special. And I guess like I could kind of talk about the one monster hit that I've had so far in my career
yeah,
was I was working with a corporate chef at Costco on a project, and we had the company that I worked for at the time also had a tortilla company as well. So we're having great conversation about what good ideas were happening and going on. And he's like, you know what? I think I have an idea. Let me get back to you. A couple weeks later, he's like, hey, check it out. Here's what I want to do. I want to do tacos. I'm like, okay, like tacos. Let's
Costco's
figure this out.
tacos,
Yeah, let's figure this out, right? So basically, in the back of the Costco, they almost have their deli section, right, where they have
right?
stuff that's made in the back of the house that they put out. So
Yeah,
his idea,
like at ours, it has like enchiladas and lasagna and stuff,
it,
right?
exactly,
Okay,
exactly. So they kind of assemble that in the back of the house.
okay,
Well, so his taco idea, it came to fruition, and it's the taco bar kit that they have there in Costco. So it
okay,
comes with a stack of tortillas, a
yeah,
pile of chicken, some dressing, some salsa, and some cabbage, right?
that's you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yep, dude.
That's
And it,
awesome.
dude,
I've
it's
seen that.
insane. It's insane because he's the corporate chef. So he's like, we did all the work and everything, created the dressing, the salsa. Um, Actually, the dressing was kind of a spin-off of something else that we had. And a few of us at the company kind of worked and pitched in on that. So it was cool, kind of a team collaboration.
Yeah,
But anyways, he's like, hey, this is approved. This is great. We love it. it should be about $5 million worth of business per year for you
Wow,
guys.
dude.
Dude, year one, it did $35 million. It
No
pulled in. Yeah,
way.
year one. So it was like one of those like once in a career type of things to happen. But I'm proud of that kit, man. And like the
Yeah,
people
dude.
liked the dressing so much that Costco was like, hey, we need bottles of this stuff to sell. So we bottled it in 2 packs. And it's the cilantro lime crema that you can find there every once in a while. So
Wow.
it's pretty cool. It's one of those cool things to be able to work with
Dude,
those
I had no
people.
idea you were that kind of chef.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
badass,
So
dude.
it's cool, man. It's neat.
Yeah, I mean, I have some comments coming in. Ernie Bearded
Okay.
Jixer says,
Yeah,
"Sweet
yeah.
beard, bro."
Thanks, man. Part of the
Um,
team.
and then obviously 848 Evo says it was a smart move of me to not be a chef. I don't know if that's like a dig or what, but
Right.
and then Gooch says enough about food, y'all, making me hungry, right? So
Yeah, Dan's a good guy, man. I love
I mean,
Dan.
the show's not about food, man, but like you're, I'm curious, like how people
How
are
does it?
able to go and do this racing thing, and
Yeah,
part of what we are as club racers, and we all have different jobs, right? I talked to
yeah.
Brandon Murphy; he's a firefighter in San Francisco, right? So,
Exactly, exactly. Yeah,
um,
Brendan's a good buddy of mine. I actually have a story with Brendan.
really,
Yeah. So the way me and him met is we were at CVMA, and it was like one of the first years that the Harleys really started showing up. I think it was like 3 years ago or so.
2020, yeah,
Yeah, they started really kind of coming around, and like
yeah,
everybody pretty much ostracized these guys, right? They were on their own little section, like,
dude,
and I love Harleys. Like I grew up on Harleys, and so I went over there and I was just like checking out the bikes. I was like, "Hey guys, what's up?" And
yeah,
just having a conversation, and like he looked across and he seen my bike. We were pitted right across from him, and I had the number 113
oh shit,
was my number, right? I had already picked it. I was already sold. He's like, "Oh man, you've got my fucking number, dude." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like 113, and then
and like
so,
looking at him, he's like all tatted up and
dude,
scary looking. It's like, right?
everything that he does is 113, right? Which is his firehouse, which is what he's dedicated his whole life to doing. And I thought about it. I was like, I can't not let this guy have the number 113. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that would be wrong, because he even had a 113 plate on because he was just practicing. He hadn't raced yet.
right.
And so I thought about it, and I was checking out his Instagram and stuff, and I was like, dude, I can't not let him have 113. So I messaged him, and I was like, hey, look, I reached out to CVMA, and I let them know that I want to give you my number because that's your shtick, right? That's your thing. And he was so grateful, man. Like
Yeah.
I even had other firefighters like reach out and like, dude, that was super cool. And like, if you know him, you know that that's his thing. And
Oh, dude, he
I
even
couldn't
has it
keep it in
tattooed
good.
on him,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's got that 113 shit everywhere. So fucking
everywhere.
love that guy,
Right.
you know.
And somebody that serves our community like that, dude, like they deserve, whatever we can do for them. So I thought that that was one thing that could probably do to help him out there. So,
I wonder if
so
he's
yeah,
gonna
that's my
be.
story with Brendan.
I wonder if Brendan's gonna do the. I think he's gonna race hooligans at Laguna. That's the
I hope
rumor.
he is, dude.
I wonder if they're gonna give him 113 there. That'd be sweet.
Oh, because who
Yeah,
has it? Does somebody have it?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Not in hooligans for sure.
Yeah, whatever. They'll figure it
Yeah.
out. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure that series will sort him.
Yeah. Yep.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, man. So interesting background you got there. So like, where are you work? Are you working for that same company now, or are you?
I'm not. So we actually moved up here to the Bay Area about a year ago.
Okay.
My wife had an opportunity to work for Sonoma County, so we moved up here, and I'm still actually kind of looking for my place to land up here with
Okay.
one of those companies. Um, so yeah, so I'm still kind of looking around, but that's the goal is to do the same thing. Just kind of waiting for something to open up.
So where in Sonoma County are you guys?
Santa Rosa.
Oh wow, you're in Santa
Mhm.
Rosa.
Yep.
That's crazy, man.
So I'm like 30 minutes from Sonoma Raceway and like 2.5 to Thunder Hill
Like
and
half an
like
hour,
2 to
like maybe 30
Laguna.
minutes from Calistoga,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Napa Valley, all that, right?
Exactly. Lots of
Yeah,
wineries
like
and
that's like my childhood stomping grounds, dude.
oh no
Like
way.
I went to Calistoga Junior Senior High.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you
So
know the area for sure.
yeah, that tiny little town, and like the mall was in Santa Rosa.
The mall, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
that's funny, man. Good for you, buddy. Like that's a tough gig being a chef and doing it what you're doing, like the 9 to 5 thing. That seems better. I
Yeah,
hope you find something up there,
I appreciate it.
Fuck man,
Thanks.
maybe you'll be cooking at a winery or something.
Dude, I mean, I've started to look at it because it's just the pickings are kind of slim up here because like especially in this industry now, a lot of people that do my job have food science degrees as well.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of places require that. I'm like, I have a culinary degree and like 17 years worth of experience, not a food science degree, but a lot of people want to have that. But so it's been a little bit tough, but it's something will shake out. And like you said, there's plenty of wineries and stuff up here
Yeah.
to go do. And that's the only question is, am I ready to have to work those weekends again? And I'm
Roll
like,
up those
I've got a fucking race. I can't work on the weekends.
roll up those sleeves, buddy, and be like, "Hey, the sous chef will have that weekend and that weekend."
Right, right,
Right?
exactly. It's gonna have to happen probably if I can't find something soon.
There you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
man.
That's crazy, man. So, when did you pick up this motorbike bug since this is a motorbike show?
So here's my story. I had done a couple of track days, right? And I was like, oh, this is fun going out with your buddies. You usually rip the canyons or whatever. And we had done a couple of track days, and I was going to sign up for another track day, and it was cheaper to do NRS than it was to do the track day.
I'm
I
probably
was
to blame
like,
for that,
yeah. I was like,
right?
well, that's a no brainer. I mean, I'm just going to pay less to do the same thing. Okay, so I got to go to a class like for 3 sessions. That's cool, whatever.
Did you do it at Chuckwalla
I
or at?
did.
Oh, you
I
did it
did.
at Chuckwalla.
Yeah,
So you
I
did
think
my
it
new racer
was,
school at Chuckwalla.
it had to have been 19, I think, 19 or 20. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
for
And
you, man.
um, so I did that. And after that mock race, dude, I was like,
You
the
got ruined.
streets schmeats. I'm not riding the streets anymore. I have got to convert this bike over, and I got to go racing. Like it was just, I mean, we all know the feeling of sitting on the grid and you're nervous as shit, right, to get going. But then once you crack that throttle to drop the clutch to go, it's like everything disappears and you're just like, fucking, let's go.
It's
And
like
so,
it's like that the old Mr. X cartoon, right? Like you're waiting for the flag to drop and then
right.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. Like I used to tell people this as like, you should do, like if you're a regular track day rider, you should do New Racer.
Yeah.
If you're coming up and you're, bumping through the ranks and you've made it to A group or whatever, do New Racer because the
Yeah.
thing is like when you do that and you grid up and do that mock race thing, like you find out what kind of person that you are.
Yeah.
And that kind of person, what I mean by that is like, are you the kind of person that's going to stab your buddy in the neck for a $7 trophy, right?
Right. Right.
And man, and if you are, awesome, let's go racing. If you're not, cool, keep doing track days, we're good.
Yeah.
um but yeah, it's I totally feel you on that. But have you always ridden bikes or?
You know what? No. Well, so when I was a kid, I rode dirt for a couple of years, and then I didn't do anything for years and years until I moved out to California. I moved out to California in 2005. I think I picked up my first bike in like 2009, I want to say.
Really?
Yeah.
What was your first bike?
A Buell
A
XB12R.
Buell XP12R.
Yeah. I remember being petrified driving that thing off of Biggs Harley Davidson's lot. I was so scared.
Really?
Oh man, yeah,
Oh,
I
dude, that's
just,
like is that the one with like the really sharp steering head angle and the big old
yeah,
frame rails up the side? Is that the one?
yeah. So, and it kind of had like a red wheels and red windscreen, but yeah, yeah, it was just like that, and
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, it was a cool concept and cool bike, and I had fun. It'd be a super fun hooligan bike now. I think there's even a couple of guys running those in a couple of leagues, but yeah. So that was my first bike, man, and I ripped that thing all over the place. I blew the spark plug clean out of the cylinder and had to helicoil the cylinder to get the plug back in, and I had fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, how long did you start? How long from when you got that? That was your first bike. You had to learn how to ride on that.
Yes, correct.
You know what? I
Yeah.
mean, being like, I'm just gonna share an image of what that bike kind of looks
Oh
like.
yeah, yeah,
Um, just because, yeah, I want some perspective.
yeah.
Um, I wonder if it'll let me share a screen. Okay, let's
And it was
see here.
belt driven,
Yeah, here we go.
single sided rotor.
I don't know if you see. Do you see that?
That's yeah, that's it.
You seeing that? All
Yep,
right.
that's the one.
So, yeah, so that's really something. That's an advanced level bike, you know. I mean, people talk smack about Buells or whatever, but
Yeah,
that's what that's like at towards the end of the first generation of Buell, right? The
yeah,
first iteration of Buell, that's sort of at the end. And
yep.
I think that model is the model that that the bike Danny Eslick was racing on
Oh wow.
in DMG
Oh
for
wow.
what do they call it? Daytona Sport Bike.
Uh huh.
And yeah, like that thing was crazy
I think
fast. I
it's
don't know
like
what
a.
they did. Yeah.
I think it's like a cammed out freaking 1200 Sportster motor or something like that, right? Is what they do to him. Is what Buell
I
did to
don't
him. Yeah.
that,
Yep.
but yeah, I mean, that thing probably handled awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not that the previous Buell where it was not as sporty, I guess you
Right.
could say, right?
Right.
So
Yeah. It had 100 horsepower. I mean, it was a cool little bike, man, for sure.
yeah,
Yep.
man, that's cool. So okay, so how long before before you started going to the track from then? And
Um,
did you have different bikes before you went to the track or?
yes. So I think it was probably about 7 years of riding off and on before I got to the track, and we would do a couple of track days a year for a few years. And I think the first bike that I tracked was a Gen 2 Aprilia RSV 1000.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I went.
So you've
Is
been
that where
doing
I
this
went?
Aprilia thing for a minute.
I have. I've had a few of them,
Wow.
and I mean
Glutton for
now
punishment, huh?
uh, I was just going to say, now that I'm kind of into racing a bit, like I understand. And I love the bikes. I love the brand. They're cool. They sound amazing. They're not super competitive in club racing. You know what I mean? There's a couple of guys that do okay, but I can't remember the last time I saw an Aprilia on the top step, really, in any of the um, divisions or any of the clubs that I've raced with, which is
Well,
a bummer.
I
But
mean, let's just have a little bit of reality check. Let me put my like former, founding club member
yeah,
guy hat on. The reality is, I don't think what you're describing has anything to do with the bike specifically. I
mm-hmm.
think that perhaps the some of the other manufacturers pay better contingency.
Sure.
So like a few years ago, not to talk shit or anything, whatever, I'm not
Yeah,
talk shit.
hey.
Like a bunch of guys switched from whatever they were riding before to Cowie's because
Mm-hmm.
Cowie's contingency was better, right?
Got it.
And then like right now, it seems like BMW is kind of paying. So you're
Yep.
seeing, remember everybody disappeared. There was nobody on a BMW, and
Yep.
now like fucking everybody's on a
Everybody's got
BMW,
one. Yeah.
right? And it's cyclical like that. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and it's had some up and downs. I mean, we had some heavy Yamaha stuff
Yep.
in the middleweight classes specifically. It was like the Yamaha show, right? And
Oh yeah.
even in the open classes for a while, it was Yamaha show.
R6 is
And
everywhere for sure.
Suzuki used to pay massive amounts at the club level, and now they don't. And I mean, with the exception of a few weirdos, like you don't
Mm-hmm.
really see a whole lot of Suzuki's at the track. Period.
Which is
Right?
crazy because that 750 could get it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
compared to some of the bikes nowadays, I understand. But yeah, back in the day, those 750s were something
Yeah,
special.
and the thing is, like the 750s in Moto America are not like the 750s you get off the
Right.
showroom. Like you got to buy that whole
Yep.
throttle body kit and all that, and
Yep.
I mean, I guess with that kit on there, you could pretty much run a stock engine and be competitive. But
Sure.
man, it's a
Yeah.
that's a pill that you got to swallow first,
Well,
and
and
hope it works
also
out.
it's a lot about, I mean, obviously it's a lot about the rider as well, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and I'll, like, kind of back to the Aprilia real quick, is like you said, the support and the parts and the cost of fucking yard selling one is
Bro,
is quite a bit more than an
I race an
R1.
R1, dude, and
Yeah,
it's like it's not cheap to wad one.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
it's I joke with my friends about this all the time, but it's like, dude, back in the day, man, we could build a bike and be competitive for 10 grand, and
Sure.
the days of the $10,000 race bike are long gone.
Yep. If you don't have a tune and some crazy suspension, and you're just going to get ate up,
And a lot of tires.
and a lot of tires for sure.
Yeah,
For sure. I
yeah.
remember I was in the race when, I think, when you wadded your last one up, when you were trying to
Thanks.
avoid go-go, right? Like
Yeah,
going
yeah.
up Phil Hill. I was
No,
like,
no, I was going through Riverside and the dude
oh
just
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know, like it was super unexpected. I was like following him, I was
yeah.
in line and I knew I had quite a bit of roll speed on him at the exit there, so I was kind of
Mm-hmm.
positioning myself and next thing I know, he just basically his rear wheel came to me and I had nowhere to go. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah. I caught the dust cloud of you
Yeah.
on that race. I think it was probably a Formula 40. Had to have been, right?
No, no, that was the GT.
Oh, it was the. That's right. It
Yeah.
was the GT. Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yeah,
But it's racing. I mean,
yeah.
I kind of gave Gogo a wisecrack. I was like, dude, you owe me dinner for not bringing you
Right,
over.
right. I remember you
Um,
come into the garage. You're like, "Where's Gogo at? Is he around?"
yeah, dude,
Tell him
because
he
I was,
owes me one because
yeah,
I
you owe
didn't
me dinner,
ass
dude,
pack him.
right?
Right.
And that's about as aggressive as I'll get.
Yeah. No,
With
it's
because the reality is taking a racing incident personal is just silly. You
yeah.
know,
It really is. I mean,
um,
things happen. Now, if somebody has a track record of racing or being an asshole, right? Like, then
right,
there's a different conversation to have. But this is just one of those things, just like it is most of the 90, I'd say 90% of the time. It's
right,
just a racing incident.
yeah. I
Because
mean,
we're
dude,
definitely not all Gagnes, so
yeah,
we're
like
still trying to fucking figure it out.
at round one, do you remember? Do you know Zoomer?
Oh, I don't know if I do.
Steve Zoomeris? Like,
Okay.
so Zoomer at the first round this year, Zoomer ran me off track that weekend like two or
Oh,
three
shit.
times. Like I think it was two times, and then on in the writers' meeting on Sunday morning, like I didn't go and say anything to him, but like we were full on in the dirt, and then we looked at each other, and we drag raced in the dirt like fucking biker boys to the checkers, right? And
Yeah.
it's so stupid. But the next morning in the writers' meeting, I looked over at him and I was like, "Hey, bro, we gonna make it three today?" You know?
Right, right, right.
So, because I was like, dude, like, how many times am I gonna get run off? Like, this is my first
Mm-hmm.
weekend, and I'm still like not right,
Yeah.
and not 100%,
Yeah.
and yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of how it goes. I mean, it's a racing incident. It's like whatever.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Go pick a fight in the dude's pit?
Right. Come
That's
on.
the
I mean,
that's dumb.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Nobody wins then.
no,
And
no,
everybody feels like a dick afterwards. Usually you're like,
yeah.
oh, damn it. That was dumb.
So you started racing in what, 20 or
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was 20. It was my first season. I think I did most of this, pretty much the whole season of CVMA that year. And I'm like, I remember you saying earlier, when you get on the grid, you kind of figure out what kind of guy you are, right? As far
right?
as like racing is concerned. Like,
Yeah,
and for me, I'm probably not the guy that's going to stab my buddy in the neck, but I am a guy that still wants to race.
yeah.
And so, like, I'm not like a top tier guy. I'm a middle of the pack guy. I go out there, I have fun. I want to be racing and, swapping positions with my buddies
Yeah, and talking shit at
and
night,
talking shit.
barbecue. Yeah,
Exactly, man. So that's kind of who I figured out I am, and I'm like a super like analytical type. So there's guys, and I have teammates that are like they're the guys that are just balls to the wall, no fear, fucking send it. And I'm the guy that's like, I need to know what I did wrong, what I could do better, how I could do it better, and I need to pick it apart and then piece it back together later and go try something new. You know what I mean?
you know what? what's interesting about what you just said is there's a lot more of you like types of riders like you than there are of the other style, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the cool thing is that you're okay with it. You're
yeah.
like you're okay with it. You know, it's almost like it's like a really expensive camping weekend with your buddies, right?
It really is.
It's a
Yep.
camp. We're going camping, and instead of riding dirt bikes in the desert, we're racing
Hmm.
motorbikes with our buddies, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
And you know what? Dude, that's what club racing is supposed to be all about. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, not everybody has the goal to get the call, so to speak, right?
Right. Yep.
And I love that about it, dude. Like
Yep.
that's a good attitude to have, man. To go
Go
out
out
and
there
have a
and
good
have.
time with your buddies.
Yeah, exactly. Be able to talk shit, even if you guys were fighting for last place. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you're just talking shit about each other, like, ah, I got you at the line, or because I had me and my teammate Francisco were racing one time, and dude, we had a photo finish at the line, and it was like, I think he got me by like 0.015 or something. Like
Oh man.
it was like by a half a wheel, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it was just, it was so much fun. It was so cool. And you talk about who got the better drive out of the corner and like
Yeah.
who had the better grip. It's just all fun. Like you said,
That
going out
that's
camping with your boys.
that's what it's all about, you know. And so you've raced CVMA, and I know that you raced CRA a little bit.
Yep.
Um, have you raced AFM yet?
I raced AFM Laguna last year.
Oh no shit. Okay.
Yeah, I
I was
actually got my
I
first piece of
I think
hardware
that
there.
weekend I was wearing this shirt in Portugal
Oh yeah, nice.
last
Oh,
year.
that's right, because
Yeah.
Jake was racing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I got my first piece of hardware, dude, at Laguna.
Oh,
So
nice.
my only piece of hardware is a Laguna trophy. So that's
From
pretty cool.
AFM.
Yeah, from AFM.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, you know what? You have the one of the unique perspectives of racing in all the clubs in California, basically, right?
Right. Yeah.
All the ones that are active anyway. I think Weira has pretty much gone away. I don't know if you've raced
Sure.
with them.
I have not.
Um, I didn't either. But you like each club has their own style, I guess, of doing things.
Yep.
Like, is there something that you like about each of them, or something you like one more than the other? And just so you
Yeah.
know, I'm not part of government anymore. Like, but
Right.
I was a founding member. I was one of the founders of CVMA
Yep.
and
Yep.
obviously CRA. So,
Yeah, of course.
and go.
Yeah. So CVMA, I think you love CVMA because you learn that track inside and out, and that's the only track that you run, right? Like clockwise, counterclockwise. So you go out there and you know what you're going to go do.
Yeah.
Um, and as far as like um, processes go, I think that their tech is pretty good. They get people in and out in a fairly good process, but they also do tech pretty vigilantly.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
And
can
so
you elaborate on what they do in tech? How is their tech different than the other two clubs in California?
I think it's just a little bit more. A little bit. They get a little. They look a little bit harder for things.
Really?
In my opinion, yeah. Like there's a couple of bikes in there that because I was helping out with tech, and there's like a certain bolt up in the head. I think of like a Yamaha or something that you can't see
Oh,
unless you're
the
looking for it
oil gully
specifically.
plug.
Yes,
Okay.
and like they're checking that to make sure that it's what I mean. It's
JB
not going to
welded
move
or
or
whatever. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so like just a couple of little more things like that. But for the most part, all the clubs do a good job of making sure that all the things that usually go wrong aren't going to go wrong.
As
Um,
far as tech goes.
yeah, safety wire. So for me, an AFM, the classes are confusing, like how
Yeah.
they're all laid out, and like I'm even right now getting ready to register for next month. I'm like, what class am I supposed to be running in? There's like Formula 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so
Yeah.
that's just a challenge for me to navigate and hope that I sign up for the right thing. Um,
You know, when I was in the beginning stages of starting CRA, like I was basically right at the beginning, I had a meeting with Chuck Graves,
mhm.
and we were talking about something else, but and the conversation ended up talking about the race club, And Chuck Graves, to his credit, was like, "Look, dude, what you need to do is create like the most simplistic class structure ever."
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I had kind of done that at CVMA a little bit with, middleweight, lightweight,
Yeah.
heavyweight, ultra lightweight, whatever. But
Yep.
then, even then, people would still question whether or not whatever was legal for whatever class, right?
Sure.
So then at CRA, I was like, well, fuck it. Let's just keep it simple 400, 600,000, done,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And twins, and then it's kind of evolved since then, and I'm no longer part of it now. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean that simplistic, like Weira is even worse than AFM, bro, as far as
Is
the
it?
class structure.
Oh God.
Weira is like A stock, B whatever, like
But I
A
gotta.
soup, A super stock. Like, what does that mean? Like,
Right.
right? You look at that
Right.
shit, and you're not part of their deal, and you're like, what is, like,
How do I navigate that? Right.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
gotta figure Weir is probably one of the larger clubs, right? Like
Well,
I'm
they've been
sure they
around
have.
forever. They're
Yeah.
mostly East Coast now, I think.
Yeah.
I think they do some national endurance stuff still. I'm not really
Hmm.
sure, but I know they're not going. They're not coming here anymore. They're not doing
Yeah.
California. It's just,
I
why would
just.
they? I mean, why would they? There's
Right.
three active clubs in the California already. Like,
Right. And it's kind
um,
of maybe the same reason why Moto America's not really doing Stock 1000 here on the West Coast. Like it just doesn't make sense financially or whatever for them to do that, or whatever the choice was by Moto America for that. I was kind of a little bummed by that because, I mean, guys like I know guys that will run those races when they come out here, the Stock
yeah,
1000 races, and now they really don't have the opportunity to do that, which is a bummer to see.
yeah. I mean, I think they clipped that so they could do the long super sport race, right?
Ah, gotcha.
I think.
Which
I'd have
wasn't
to go.
long, anyways.
I don't exactly remember what Chuck Axland said about that. I think we talked about that
Mm,
on when I had
I
him
think you're
on.
right. You
I
did.
think we did. I don't exactly remember what he said because I was talking shit about other things.
Right, right,
And like, I'm more like a super bike guy, so like I'm
right.
really interested in what's going on there, and all the
Yep,
other classes are kind of secondary to me,
right.
um, just because of my affiliation with the
Of
super bike
course.
team.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, you're right. It's when I saw that they had clipped the number of rounds in stock thousand, I was pretty bummed for those guys that run that
yeah,
class. But
yep.
a lot of those guys that were running that class are running superbike now instead. So I mean,
Yeah, and
that's like
that's
a
the other
bonus,
thing, right? Like you can always do that if as long as you can qualify, you can still run that
right?
race with the stock 1000 bike.
Yeah,
So you just got to be quick.
yeah,
Um,
and that I mean that class is stacked now,
it
dude.
is, dude.
Like,
It is.
oof.
There's so many. It's just so many good riders. I mean, and this is just kind of my opinion. Think. I think there's going to be maybe a handful of races that Gagne is probably not going to take. But I think after him, like the next 4 to 5 racers are pretty tight,
Yeah,
as far as who's going to fill the rest of that podium and
I
or
mean,
the
look,
top 5.
I mean,
I'm a
going,
huge fan of Schultze. I love that kid, and
dude,
I
he's
hope
such
he
a good
kills it.
dude.
He's such a
Yeah,
good, like. I remember walking through the paddock, and I just like said what's up, and we ended up just standing there and talking for like 10 minutes. Like he's just so personable and willing to talk and hang out, and
yeah,
he's just a really good guy. So I
dude,
pull for him hard.
CP45 too. I mean,
Same with Cam. Yeah. Yep.
you got Cam, you got the other Cam, like
Yep.
the original Cam, I guess you
Right.
could say, right?
Cam one.
Yeah, Cam. What you got? Number 11. You got
Yep.
number two. On
Yep.
any given weekend, number two could come out and pull something out,
Oh,
and
of course.
you
Of
know,
course. You
I
can
mean,
never count him out.
I would not be surprised if he pulls one at Coda, for
Yep.
instance.
Yep.
Um, or
For sure.
maybe Road America.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever the Ducati gets to stretch his legs, maybe
Mm.
it'll help him.
Yeah.
But Jake's nuts.
He's just, dude,
Like
he
his
seems,
like the one thing about that guy is like his first lap
he
of the
crushes
weekend.
it.
His first, like within 3 laps of the first laps of the weekend for everybody, he ruins everybody. Like
Yeah.
within the first 3 laps, I'm like,
So
how the
demoralizing, right?
fuck does he? How does he like roll out of bed and do that, dude?
Right.
Like, we go to the test and he's like eating the little chocolate oatmeal. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what is? So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's pretty crazy. But okay, so with the three clubs that you've raced in, I know AFM's really keen on the 6 lap sprints.
Yep.
That's pretty much the standard. And when we started the CRA, like we wanted to make the races a little bit longer, so we
Yep.
made them 8. And then obviously the 20 lap GT races,
Yep.
because the GT race actually the 20 lap thing came from Willow Springs used to do that in the summertime,
Ah.
like in the spring till the end of, basically from, I can't remember specifically, but I want to say it was like from April or May all the way to like September, basically. Or maybe, I don't know, August, maybe. They would
Yeah.
do like Saturday night after practice, they would do these GT races,
Oh wow.
GTO, GTU, and it was like 20 laps, and you would go and just get ruined.
Yeah.
And it was awesome, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I haven't had that in
When they get
forever.
ruined.
And
Yeah.
when I helped start CVMA, we did this thing called the Tag Team Challenge, which was
Okay.
pretty fun. Like, so it would be like it was like an hour. It was like an hour race where
Uh huh.
you had a teammate riding your same bike, and they would come in and
Hop on and
yeah, and right, and that was pretty fun, but it was hard to get participants to do that.
sure.
At
Right.
that particular time, people didn't want to burn up tires or whatever. But
And the bike. I mean, running those bikes that hard for an hour,
yeah,
like
well,
that's
whatever. Some
yeah.
people use. I think we had the setup to where you could like tag team your buddy and just swap transponders to their bike, and they would go.
Oh, that's cool
Or
too.
you could just
Hmm.
use one bike. There was some people that would do it solo. They just
Right.
had, it was like a required pit stop thing.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't
But
imagine being on there for an hour, dude. The 20 lap GT race with CRA. I thought about getting off the track. I don't know how many times, but a lot of times.
yeah,
I just kept telling myself, just do one more lap. Just do one more lap.
yeah. I
And
mean,
then
at
by the
round
time I
one,
knew it, I was like, oh shit, it's over.
yeah, at round one, my right arm is still pretty bad. I mean, the shoulder
Yeah.
is like not okay.
Oh,
Um, but it was like my arm wouldn't allow me to get to where I wanted to be on the bike, so it's just wearing me out. It was like
yeah.
making me think about that. And
Hmm.
so, man, I that was the longest 18 laps or whatever that I'd ever been in.
Hmm.
But at Podium Club, because I'd done a bunch of training, lost a bunch of weight after that,
Yeah.
and I tell you what, man, Podium Club, I was like,
You're
it's
ready,
it's
huh?
already like
It's done.
the checkered flags already. Yeah,
Hmm.
so it's a fitness thing. I mean, I don't know. What do
Sure.
you what do you what are you doing for fitness?
Yeah. So me, I go back and forth because I like to lift weights, but I like to lift a little bit heavier. So it's not really conducive for like stamina. You know what I mean? So I have to mix in kind of stuff to make that happen. So I've really been mixing in a lot of rowing. I really like
Rowing.
rowing
Yeah.
for like a full body deal, and I will. What I'll do specifically is I will close my eyes and row, and I will picture me doing laps on the track with my
That's
eyes closed. So I'm rowing, picturing myself going around the track for 6 laps, 8 laps, and kind of just trying to visualize, um, just to make that kind of that mind connection to
yeah.
what's going to happen. And then obviously some biking a little bit. I do. Yeah, and so that's kind of
You
what
have
I
like a
do for fitness.
stationary
So
bike or a road
yeah,
bike, mountain bike? Oh,
yeah,
you do a stationary, you
yeah, just
Peloton, or do
stationary.
you have like a?
I usually just use the one at the gyms, whatever
Oh,
they
okay.
have. Yep,
You're the
yep. And
gym guy.
I,
Okay.
dude, I'm there. I'm there probably
Dude,
5 times a week. So,
I can't even go to the gym anymore. It just doesn't work for me, man. Like I've become addicted to the suffer. I'm doing that
hmm.
bicycle thing, and
Oh, dude,
man,
you're an animal. I can't believe I know I see you put in like 70 miles or 100 miles. I'm like, this guy is insane.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, I mean, you know what I'm doing, right? Uh, yeah. So like I'm doing this thing later in the year. I think it's the first week of October, but riding for the Arthritis Foundation.
that's
I'm
right.
gonna
Yeah.
ride my bicycle from San Francisco to Los Angeles.
Wow.
And actually, in the description of this YouTube video, you could click on a link and donate if you want to.
Nice plug. Got it.
right? But yeah, it's like 100 miles a day or whatever. So right
What?
now I'm doing like I did like 40 some miles this morning before 9 a.m.
Wow.
So
Jeez, dude.
yeah,
Good on you though, man. I mean, I
going to
remember
the gym though,
you used
you're
to
all
be a
yoked out. You got like the gym body thing, like which way to the weight room?
That's the problem, right? Like I've got 230 pounds that I've got to fucking throw around on that bike and try to get the bike suspension
Yeah.
settled. And like I really had to learn because I literally would just throw the bike like around, you know what I mean,
Oh,
to get it to turn.
so
And
you're using a lot of upper body to make the bike do what you want it to do?
yep, and I learned that you burn out super fast like that, and it's not conducive to running fast times because guess what? Your suspension is constantly upset and never
Right.
settled in. And once I started kind of just maneuvering and kind of floating side to side, it was so much smoother. Everything worked the way it was supposed to. So I still struggle with that though when I get tired. When I start to get like winded, I'll
Yeah.
start throwing it around again. Like I'll go back to my
You
old
revert back
ways.
to your roots.
Yeah, and I have to be
Yeah.
like, okay, Josh, take a breath. It's all right, you know, and kind of reset. But yeah, that's kind of how I've tried to learn. And like, I'm a taller guy too, so I've picked the brains of some of the taller guys. Like I've talked to Jack back in a little bit because he's a taller dude, and like
Jack
talking about
Backens super switched on, didn't he?
yeah, yeah, for sure. And then just talking about ergonomics and stuff, and I've really had to play with the Aprilia to get it to fit me right. And I had a really good session with Dave Moss about ergonomics on that bike, and some of the changes that we made for that were just game changers. And what I had to do is like the regular clip-ons for me were too short, and so what it was doing, so I don't know if I can see,
It's
but
like a bicycle drop bars,
so
like a
like
10 speed.
so I was like this, and it was causing my shoulders to roll forward, right?
Yeah.
So I put longer bars on, and what it did is it actually opened up my chest and shoulders. So now I
Okay.
can maneuver a little bit better, and I'm not like putting my weight on my shoulders and on the bars more. I was able to kind of get back a little bit more and be able to move that front end around a little bit. But I also have the advantage of having 230 pounds of grip on that front tire when I'm
Yeah.
coming into a turn to
We call
stop
that
too.
mechanical
So,
grip, right?
right. Yeah, so there's definitely benefits and drawbacks in the straightaways. I mean,
Yeah.
guys are going to pull away on me when they weigh 140 pounds, and
Dude,
I'm 100 pounds
story
heavier
of
than
my
they are.
life, bro. I
But
mean,
you've done good, man. You
dude,
used to be
I'm
chunky, and you look good now.
yeah, I'm like the weight I weighed when I was in junior high in Calistoga, like right now,
Wow.
right? But I mean, dude, like in what 2005, 6, 7, I think it was like we used to joke I was gonna start at Formula 240 class where you had to be 240 to enter the class.
Right,
Like
right.
I think I was 240 something. Um,
That's
and I'm actually looking at my office right now, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I was a big dude. Like
mm-hmm.
it was like ridiculous. Like why
Yeah,
did I let myself go there? But
right.
whatever. Food tastes good. That's why. That's
Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
And so one thing I was going to mention about the CRA that I loved about that the GT race is the fact that amateurs and experts actually got to go together on that race.
yeah.
Like I found it super beneficial to actually be on track. Oh no, my battery's gonna die. That's dumb.
Plug it in, dude. Plug it
I'm
in.
gonna um, to actually be on track with some of the experts, you know what I mean? And for maybe a half a lap or so, get to see some lines and stuff. But what was really beneficial was to be with the 600 experts, like
Yeah.
because I could kind of lock in with some of those guys and get around the track a little bit and learn a little bit better and how they handled their roll speed and things like that. So I thought that was what was cool about being able to run that GT race with CRA.
Yeah. I mean, the longer laps are cool too. I mean, it's like green flag race practice, basically, right? Like
Yeah.
I always looked at it like that. It's like, man, giving dudes like the experience of like
Yep.
hot. It's not practice. It's a race. So you're like
Yeah.
green flag race laps, and
Yeah.
we don't really get a lot of those. And a lot of the clubs, the reason why I wanted to do 8 lap sprints instead of 6 is because most of the time at some of the clubs, like anything goes wrong, they cut your laps to 4. I'm
Right.
like, man, 4 laps, that's not even a
It's a
race.
super
It's
sprint.
just
I
like
know.
getting
Yeah.
warmed up, you know?
Yeah.
And so, and then also, how many times you like the way I sold it to the partners, I was like, look, how many times you've been in a race where you're like, man, if I had 1 or 2 more laps, I'd have got
Oh,
that guy,
gosh.
right?
So many times, right?
Right.
Yep.
So I was like, man, let's just give us 8 laps. And what's interesting about it is that at first we got a little bit of pushback, but after a while, people started to dig it, And
Yeah.
I wish CRA the best of luck. I'm
Hmm.
really kind of busy doing this crap.
Yeah.
I'd much
I
rather
get it.
and having way more fun talking about motorbikes than actually like having to do all that work being
And you
government,
seem so much more relaxed out there at the track too. You're like out there actually being able to have some fun and have some conversations
Yeah,
instead
man.
of running around like a chicken with your head cut off
And trying to race.
and trying to race. Yep.
That was something that a lot of people didn't understand, but it's a good time, This club racing thing is and it's here to stay, I think, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
think so. I like the CRA, man. I love the people that run it are really, really good. And the people that show up out there to race are good and fun and race well. And so, yeah, I'm a fan, man.
right on, dude. So, one of the things I've noticed about you is you always have a good looking motorcycle. Like your bike looks like you have a scheme on there that's all
Mm-hmm.
bright and obnoxious, and I fucking love that
Mm-hmm.
about you.
Mm-hmm.
And but I also noticed there's a few, like maybe 2 or 3 of bikes that look similar to that. So
Yep.
do you have like a club team that you're on? Like what is? Tell me a little bit
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, we do. The name of the team is Mission Driven Racing. And
Mission
base,
driven racing. Okay.
yeah. And so what we did, there was four of us. Basically, there's a group of guys, and a lot of us took NRS together.
Okay.
And there's actually a pretty big group from our NRS class that still race today. I would say probably 10 of us from
No
our
kidding.
NRS class. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Um, and so a few of us got together and we're like, okay, we want to kind of do something more than just kind of show up and race. We want to be of value to the community, to the racing community. What can we do to help facilitate that? And so, and it's just kind of just my nature and a couple of the other guys, like whatever we can do to help the people around us, we will, especially for me, especially it's in like their weaker moments when their bike is coming on the crash truck. You know what I mean? If I see the crash truck, I'll run over and grab the bike off of the truck so they can just sit down and try to get their thoughts together and, put their bike up and
Right.
kind of start to assess. And however it can help basically is what we try to do. And so we kind of put the team together, and there was four of us. There's five of us now. We just had Geyser Hernandez join up with the team, and he's such an awesome guy too.
What's he
Um,
riding?
Dude, he's riding a ZX6 and a Ducati 1199. So he's
Okay.
doing double duty.
That's club racing, two completely different motorcycles.
Two totally different bikes. And then there is Ryan Wolf, and he runs a ZX10.
Okay.
And he's our fast guy. He's an expert now, but I think he's running like 152 to 154 at Chuck,
Right
right? So
on.
it was his first expert season at CVMA.
Okay.
And so, yeah, he runs his EX10. Then we have Jamal, and he runs a SV650 in twins. And then he also has a ZX10 now. He used to run this old clapped out 2007 R1 that he would just
Okay.
send to the moon, dude. It
I
was
think I
just,
I think I know who that guy is.
yeah. He
Was
works
he
with a
was
bunch
he
of the,
riding that thing at Laguna last year
he might
at
have been.
the CRA
Yeah.
round?
Yeah. I think he was. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is he wearing
Great
like an
dude.
old TrackDaz suit? Is it that guy?
I don't, I don't know. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't remember the track day suit. Um, and then there's also Francisco Crespo, and he runs a 2016 RSV4. And so, yeah, so we kind of all just got together and said, hey, we can do this. We can go race together. We can be of value to the community however we can. We'll take bikes to and from wherever if somebody needs help. We
That's
usually
awesome.
always have some sort of parts on hand if people need parts. And so we kind of just came together and decided that that's what we wanted to do. And so from that, we're like, okay, well, if we're going to do it, well, actually, I'll kind of back up. I told our buddy TJ, I'm not sure if you know TJ or not, but he's in the paddock a lot. Moto America,
Is it the
GP.
KYT helmet,
Yes,
TJ? Yeah,
exactly. Yep.
bro.
Yeah.
You know we're sponsored by KYT, right?
Yeah.
KYT
Yeah.
Mafia all the way right here, buddy.
So I told him what we were kind of doing, and he's like, "Hey, I want to support you guys." And his other helmet deal is Bill Mola, and that's his helmet that he has. And so he's like, "I am going to hook you guys up. Everybody gets 2 helmets, and basically, we're just going to support you that way and whatever this needs." Um, so yeah, so he's like, I want to totally support you, and here's what you should do if you really want to kind of take this to the next level. He's like, I would love to see this and this and this happen, and because he's been throughout all the paddocks and he knows how things run, and
Yeah.
so he helped us with getting canopies printed with our logos and all of that, and so from that we wanted to design our bikes all the same, like scheme, but even though they're different branded bikes, we wanted to have all the same livery.
Yeah.
So the first round was like a flow yellow and black, which was pretty cool. And then this last round, we went with Irina at Lito Factory, and we wanted to do this like kind of cool retro 80s type of deal. And one of the
Now
guys,
you're talking my language.
yeah. One of the guys sent over like these ridiculous 80s shorts with like blue, pink,
like a
and
trapper
yellow. Yeah, exactly. It was like blue, pink, and yellow, like paint swipes.
Hell
And
yeah.
we're like, that's fucking perfect.
Like the old OP shorts.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. The Ocean Pacifics. That's great. So we sent that to her, and she's like, okay, let me design something. And she designed it, and we were like, that's it. We love it. And so we had her, print the wraps. Everybody sent her, our fairings and stuff. She wrapped everything, and so we have all the bikes matching, except for mine has Bondo job now, since I just sent it at Thunder Hill West a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
I crashed it, so I had to kind of put those fairings back together.
Yeah, we have a weekend at Thunder Hill West next month.
I know, same weekend as AFM.
Yeah, man. I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of track day people that don't race, and I was like, might as well do a weekend there and have everybody at the track at the same time,
Dude, and that West track was so fun. It was my first time at Thunder Hill.
Were you going clockwise or counterclockwise?
We were going counter.
Okay.
Yep. Dude, it was a fun
like
little
people
track.
go counter, right? I don't know. Like that's what most of the videos I see.
Yep. Yeah, it was a fun little track, man. Had a blast. Just made a stupid little mistake. But that little track was. That's
how we always end up on the ground, right?
Like
a stupid little mistake, a little bike prep thing.
Yep. But it was a cool little track, man. It was a blast, and the supermotors were out there just ripping everybody apart. The little bikes were out there, big bikes, and it was a cool little track. So I think you guys are gonna have a blast, and anybody who goes is gonna be in for a good time. That's for sure.
So what bikes do you have in your garage right now besides your beastly Aprilia?
Yeah, so the 2017 Aprilia.
That's your race bike there?
That's the race bike, and it's all sorted with Öhlins. It was just an RR basic model when I bought it, but got it all sorted with Öhlins, and had Fuzzy do some work to the forks to give it a little bit more travel, and kind of just dialing it in for me. And then I have a 2014 RC8, KTM RC8, and then like a 1984 Honda XR100.
Okay.
So those are the bikes.
Now you're way up there in that area. That you could probably find a place to do silly stuff with that XR100.
Dude, they had the.
Matter of fact, I think my guest from last week, Hawk Mazzotta, has something going on with XR100s up there in that.
Oh, really?
Somewhere up north. Yeah.
Yeah, they had the indoor. What do they do? What's it called? I can't remember. Damn it now.
It's like
Flat track, the flat
dirt
track.
track, but it's
Yeah,
like indoor on concrete, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Went to that not that long ago. And it was, dude, it looks so fun. There's dudes out there like 73, 74 years old
Yeah, man.
doing this, doing that racing. So it was really cool to see.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's
So I
awesome.
was thinking about, I was like, man, I could do that with this little bike, you know?
All right, so that's your final bike?
Yes.
Okay. That's quite the mix of bikes because the
Yeah.
RC8 I would imagine is your street pile, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So what's your best moment in club racing thus far?
Best moment in club racing.
Was it a best finish, best battle, whatever?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's see. Let's think about it. I mean, Laguna was super special with you guys and and AFM just being at Laguna. And the track is such a fucking blast
Yeah.
that you can't like besides the like nostalgia and the coolness of it, like
Yeah.
you can't help but have a good time there. Um, so being able to race that, like you had kind of pumped up before, being the first club to be back racing there in what was it,
40
30 years or
years.
something? Yeah,
40. Yeah.
was
Crazy.
was incredible to be a part of, and it was special, and like everybody had a blast, and it was so that was a special time for sure.
I can't remember if we scumbagged you into helping us with air fence.
You did not, but I was gonna volunteer and help, but everybody was already out there doing it. But
Dude,
you guys
that
did a
was
great job with that.
that was learning how to set up and tear down air fence was something I never wanted to do.
Ever again?
I don't think I ever. That's one of the worst things of being part of government ever.
Right,
That's the worst thing ever
right.
because like we had a dude that misread the directions in our circle.
Oh no.
I'm trying to think. Should I call him out?
Do you want him to help ever again?
He's
I don't know.
he's I'm not part of government anymore, right?
That's true.
No, but he kind of misread the directions, so we had them all backwards.
Oh
So we had to
no.
flip them all backwards, flip them all back around, and then
Oh,
just we're all trying, and they were what we ended up getting was like they had just come from like a dirt track the weekend prior.
uh-huh.
I mean, dude, the club. I know we spent a fortune getting them there. It's crazy. Road Racing World Action Fund made a few phone calls for the club, and there you go, right?
Yeah.
And man, like the club had to pay. Ended up having to make had to pay massive amount to ship them from like Ohio, and
Damn.
there was like a dirt track or something, and they were all wet and gross,
Oh man.
and like there was a couple that were like not okay, like
Yeah.
clearly like we had to roll them back up and put them strap them to the pallet, like we couldn't
Damn.
even use
Right.
them. But
Right.
I mean, we were there with Thursday night till about I don't know forever.
hmm I,
Um,
I remember pulling in, seeing you
Friday
guys in
night,
like turn 5 or something.
that was us, yeah.
Yeah.
And Friday night, same thing. We were there. We were there first thing in the morning at like 6 o'clock, and then
hmm
we were there again at night till like midnight, basically Friday
Yep.
night. And then we had kind of figured it out by then, and it took us maybe an hour to tear them everything down and pallet it, get
Right.
ready to ship. So I mean, leaving was better, but man, learning how to set up air fence, and we all had like leaf blowers and shit to blow them up. It's like the most
Right. I
ridiculous thing
remember.
ever,
Yeah.
and they
That's
all
funny.
leaked. So like we had to go and we had to send Barry, the Barry's one of the volunteers for CRA.
Yep.
Barry was doing like hot laps in the Tesla and like
Uh,
tuning up the air fence all weekend. Like every couple of races, he'd go out there and
throw them
So
back up.
it was but it was pretty special, and I know that we did the best we could to try to make sure that this special event was as special to you guys as it was to us doing
Yeah.
it. So
No, it was. It was definitely special, I thought. And I think I think one of the things that maybe afterwards we were like, we should have done that different was the national anthem, the Jimi
oh.
Hendrix version, the 18 minute.
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, nobody's ever heard the 18-minute full length one,
That's
and
true.
including the announcer Jeff LGB, and man, when it kept going, everybody was like looking at each other
Whoa.
like, okay, it's still going.
Right.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Yeah, that was funny.
That
But
was good.
that's like part of the learning experience too.
Oh yeah, of course.
Um, but yeah, so I got some more commenters. By the way, Ty Bankford's joined us now. So
Ty. Yeah,
um,
Ty's helped me out, man. He's done some video analyzation for me and helped pick out some spots where I'm struggling a little bit. So I appreciate him for
dude,
sure.
he's a good dude for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Our paddock's full of all the paddocks are full of good dudes, man.
Agreed. Yeah. Yep.
But he did say that for with regards to Laguna, he quote helped with air fence when he proposed there.
Oh, that's right. In
Yeah,
Rainy
that's right. Was
Corner,
that
right?
Friday? I think it was Friday night. Like
Mm-hmm.
while we were tuning up air fence and crap, like he was over in the corkscrew on his knee.
Yep. It's
So
true.
good on him for that. That's a good
That's right.
idea.
He's good on his knees. It's all good.
And then bearded Jixer, Ernie says classic national anthem, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean Ty is saying the national anthem was kind of funny. So
It was.
and I don't. Ernie's asking if there's any club races this year at Laguna. I don't believe so.
I haven't seen any on the
Laguna
schedule.
closed like till like not that long ago, till like a week or two ago.
Hmm.
And I think they're doing some repaving now, leading up to Moto America stuff.
Hmm.
So I
I
don't
saw it's on AFM's schedule, but it's TBD. So I don't know if they're going to
right.
get to do it or not. I think I
Yeah,
heard that they're probably not going to be
I'm
able to do it.
I'm not part of
Um,
government anymore, but I'm guessing based on how much Laguna cost them last year
yeah.
and the time frame that they have a TBD, I'm not
Hmm.
betting that that's going to happen. But if it
Yeah.
does, maybe that's the one way to get me to race AFM again.
Yeah.
I don't
Well, and I
know.
know a lot of us are waiting for the new Button Willow too, right? To
Oh,
open up to
dude,
schedule some stuff there.
the new button willow is supposed to open in
2 years
2021, man.
ago.
It's
Yeah. Yep.
2023, bro.
Yep.
But between all the giant kangaroo rat drama with
Mm.
the activists and
Is
stuff,
that what
and
it is? That red
there was
tape?
some of that in the initial stuff, and then like the county permit office was delaying things for no reason. They've had and then it rained for 4 months here in
Right.
SoCal, so there
Right.
was that. I mean, they're actively working out there. I don't know when the date is that they'll open, but man,
Yeah.
when they do, I get to race for the CRA there.
Yeah. It's
So
going to be
part of
cool
my
for
deal,
sure.
right? Part of my departure deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
think I'm not sure, but I thought I saw that Arma might be racing at Laguna.
yes,
Um,
they are. The
right?
weekend after Moto America, Arma is racing at Laguna. Yep.
Because I was looking at that because I can race the RC8 with Arma. They
Oh
have a
wow,
division for that bike, so I was thinking about doing that.
that's cool. Yeah, I mean the TrackDaz company, we have a track day there the Tuesday after Arma. So I
Oh,
was
cool.
planning on going up there Sunday to check out Arma and then planning like a big bicycle ride in the area on Monday.
Oh, yeah. It's a beautiful
So
area for sure.
stay tuned for that. But yeah, like I've got like a 70 miler already mapped out that I do every year during Superbike week. So right,
Nice, nice. Hell yeah.
yeah,
I
it's a good
think
time.
so. Going back to like my favorite moment, right? I was kind of
Yeah,
just thinking, and this isn't like it's nothing special really to. It's not. It wasn't like a win or anything like that. But one of my favorite moments that got me so hyped was basically it was on a start, right? And I launched, I think, from like 12th place to third. Like, so I
no
went into
way.
turn one, going clockwise at Chuck, like, and that's you can ask a couple of guys. My launches are usually pretty good. I've had some pretty good launches where I just go past a few rows pretty easily. But yeah, going from like 12th to third and taking that first turn in third and just seeing two guys in front of me, I was like, oh, I like it up here.
Yeah,
It's nice up here.
yeah.
And then following them, you know what I mean? And just trying to latch on and go, for about a lap or so before some guys started picking me off. But I was like, that was fun. That's where I was really like, ooh, I really like this being up front shit. This is nice.
Are you using launch control and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
have all that shit. I just don't know how to use it.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
doing it old school, man. And Stamboli makes fun of me so bad. He's like, dude, you're an idiot. I'm like, I know, right?
Dude, there's video and pictures of me with me thinking that it was on and it wasn't, and just a high noon and
Oh, nearly yeeting the thing.
nearly eating it because I thought it
Yeah.
was on. And I was like, yeah. So now I definitely am sure that make sure that it's on every time because I've had a couple of moments.
Well, I had a moment similar to yours when I was, I don't know, maybe I don't even want to talk about how long ago this was, but I want to say it was like 2006, maybe 2005.
Hmm.
Yeah, six. And I think, yeah, I was racing a 636 in the 750 class. So I'm running against Carl Lowry and Jeff Stern and like super fast guys, right?
Yeah.
Off the start, I get like this epic start. I go into turn three at Willow and I go by both Stern and Lowry. And Stern later was like, "What are you doing, dumbass?" And I was like, "I don't know, but it was awesome." And
Right.
pop up over the hill and come down turn six, and there's nobody in front of me, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
leading the thing, and I felt like a dog that finally caught the car. You know what I mean? Like
Right. Right.
I didn't know what to do with myself at
Right.
that
What
point.
do I do?
And
Right.
while I'm all confused, like wondering what the hell happened to those guys, they just smoked past me, and
They
I,
just
I think
eat
I
you up.
finished
Yeah.
third that race. But I mean, for that one moment, I was like coming out of turn six, looking down the back straightaway, like,
Yeah.
and wondering what the fuck just happened.
Right. How am I up here?
That's
Right.
awesome.
Same, dude. It was one of those things where it's like, oh, this is the kind of shit that we live for, right? Like
Yeah, dude.
this is the great moments. Like it was cool. So I look forward to some more of that.
Right on.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to run enough races at CVMA, like because of moving up here, that I didn't get my 100 points to be able to go to expert, which is okay because my times really aren't reflective of somebody that's going to be even, you know what I mean, in
What are
the
your times at CVMA?
56s, dude.
Well, I'm gonna be real with you because I've had this discussion with many racers before.
Hmm.
So amateur ranks is not to learn how to win.
Right.
It's to learn how to race. And quite
Sure.
frankly, dude, you've been racing amateur since 2020, bro.
Yeah.
And you're doing times that beginners can't do,
Hmm.
right? You're
Yeah.
not a real amateur anymore. If I were you,
Right.
in some club, one of the clubs, you've probably scored enough points to promote yourself to
Yeah.
expert. And
Uh-huh.
if you do promote to expert, you're in one club, guess what? You're expert
Yeah.
in all of them. If
All of
I were
them.
you, like I don't really think you have a whole lot to gain by staying a yellow plate.
Right.
Um, that's just my opinion, of course, and you can do
I
what you want to
understand
do.
that.
But as a writer representative, I would say, dude,
Just make the switch.
turn that sandbag in and let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I could see how it would be super beneficial to just, I mean, after probably a couple of
Ty is
races.
reflecting what I just said too. He's like, put the white plates on, bro. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because I think I understand like racecraft and like how to, make passes and what's responsible and all that.
yeah,
I just don't know if I
you're a racer.
understand it at that speed.
No, no. The thing is, the speed that you're going in expert class, there's somebody to race with anyway.
Right.
Like instead of, you might not be racing for fifth or sixth, you might be racing for eighth or ninth or 10th,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
But either way, you're going to have somebody to race with and you're going to be able to gain that experience and, your mission driven thing, right? It'll
Yeah.
allow real amateurs to learn
Yep.
without bullies like
Yeah.
you.
Bullies. Yeah, I guess that might happen every once in a
I'm
while.
just playing. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yep.
So I think but hey, oh, Tom Grace says, "What's up, Josh?"
Hey, buddy, what's up?
Yeah. And by the way, Ty says he's watched all your videos and you'll be fine in expert. So
Cool.
your coach is telling you to do
To
it.
go. To
And
go.
he said also when you're an expert, you could do the shootout or like
Oh,
the
okay.
Formula Pacific or the Gold Cup with
Right.
CRA, right?
Right.
When you're expert, when you're amateur, you don't get to do that.
You can't. I know.
Yeah,
It's true. That's
yeah.
true.
And gives you one more goal to like chase.
Yeah.
And you can go and try to qualify with those guys. Maybe get a tow from a guy like Ty.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, 100%. I do
I,
love like the legit start process of CRA too for that race. It's
oh,
super
for the Gold
cool.
Cup?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
the Pro Start thing, that was something
Yep.
that we I can't remember who came up with it. Probably probably Dan Mole came up with that one.
Mm-hmm.
But basically it was like we look at that class as like a stepping stone to the pro kind of thing,
Sure.
and kind prepare you. The longer laps will help prepare you as well. I
Mm-hmm.
think as a rider, if that's your goal to be a national guy, you know, you go out and do 6 laps and you go pretty good for 6 laps. What happens when you go to the national and you got to do like 3 times that? You know,
Yeah.
so I mean that's kind of where the lap count came from, and then also the pro start thing. It's like we just thought it would look cool, and it kind of does. It kind of does.
It definitely
But
does.
hey, buddy, we're about an hour and 15 into this, and I
Okay,
think
cool.
I think we've pretty well covered what you got, man. I'm stoked for
Yeah.
you. What before we go though, like what is your goal moving forward? Obviously, aside from ditching the yellow plate,
Yeah.
what's your goal? Like, do you have a lap time goal? Do you have like a finishing position goal? Like, what's your overall goal?
I mean, overall goal for me is I would love to get into a stock 1000 race eventually in Moto America, just to, get out there and have some fun. And, I'm really like a people person, and I want to just be able to contribute and help out and be, part of a team, and just part of something bigger than myself, and
Yeah.
I've been able to do that. I was at one of the motor. I was at Laguna Moto America when Ty was racing there. I was helping out Savannah Jaska and Justin Fight as they
Okay.
were running at Laguna, kind of as part of their pit crew. So I really enjoyed doing that.
Okay.
Just kind of being somebody that the racers could lean on when they're
Yeah.
trying to just focus, and I can kind of do whatever they need to do, tire swaps or whatever.
Yeah.
So just to kind of be involved, I think in that MA paddock would be cool, man. Like that's something that
That's
I had a
awesome,
lot of
man.
fun doing.
That's great. And then the last thing is like the perfect grilled cheese.
Yes. Yeah, the perfect grilled cheese, dude. It's all about the bread and the cheese and low and slow, right? Like you gotta pick all those things really, really well, and you gotta let that bread toast in butter, like very slowly. Allow that cheese to just soak into the bread, and it's got to be stringy and greasy and delicious, dude.
Wow, bro. That's the best thing ever, man. I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna go and try to make a grilled cheese right now. Um, no, I'm just kidding. But thanks for the chat, Josh.
Yeah,
It's good
brother.
times, man. I wish you the best of luck. And dude, hit me up, man. Like
Yeah.
I would love to go and spend some laughs with you and
Cool.
in person coach you, not on video. Like
Yeah, I
or
appreciate
do
that.
in
Thanks,
person
dude.
and on video.
Yeah.
How about
I,
that?
I would love that, man. Appreciate it.
Well, you know how to get a hold of me,
Sure
right?
do. Yep.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Well, good episode, man. Hopefully everybody likes this thing, shares and all that, comments and all that. So,
Absolutely, man.
all right, buddy. Well,
Very
good
good,
chat.
brother. All right,
Thank
man. I'll talk to you later.